Greetings, folks, in time and space. This is your host, TheAmariaShadow, and welcome back to the channel. Welcome back once again to some more of Ace Attorney Investigations. It's been a while since I last played this, and I do apologize for that because things just happened. I ended up getting more involved with the first Berserker Kazan, as well as Marvel Rivals, and I've also had bouts of insomnia here and there, and we know how things are with me. If I don't get enough sleep, I really get nothing done. So that is something I've been working on. So we're going to be getting back into this and trying to complete the third part of Ace Attorney Investigations Miles Edgeworth today. So without further ado, let's get started right away today's adventure and see what's in store for us. Come on, see! March 13th, 2:34 p.m., Wild Wild West area. Looks like we got the boot again. With Lance safe, the focus of the investigation will shift solely onto the murder. You mean the infighting between the kidnappers? Yes, and also the identity of the remaining kidnapper. Miles, my boy! Tell me it's true. Tell me that you've really found my boy! Yes, Mr. Amano, we found him earlier in the stadium. Then my little Lance is unhurt? He's not exactly the picture of perfect health, but his life is not in danger. He's being questioned right now by Agent Lang. Poor Lance! It must have been so horrible for him. Locked up like a... Miles, my boy, I can't thank you enough. It was nothing. I'm still in shock over what happened to Oliver. But I have to say, I'm relieved that Lance is alright. Oh, that's right! I mustn't forget to pass this on to Lance as soon as the police are finished with him. A letter? The way Lance is being chased after by women reminds me of someone I know. I almost can't believe we've received yet another love letter, you know? Here, take a look for yourself. Isn't this a breach of confidentiality? It's a very simple love letter. Oh? Hey, let me see. That's really weird. That is not a love letter. I recognize that name! Viola Cadaverini. Verini. She was in, I believe it was the second Phoenix Wright game. Tenderlender Loan Company. The only reason this woman would be sending him a letter is because he probably has a huge loan that he needs to pay back to their company, and he's being threatened, which means Lance is part of the kidnapping to try and get that money. It's from a loan company. Tenderlender looks more like a collection bill to me. He loves me. He loves me not. He loves me. He loves me not. Aw, that's the 12th one. No, you can't give up, Lauren. Just one more try. Excuse me, but I can't help but feel a bit sorry for all the flowers you've gone through. I suppose if they were me, then... I believe you said that you are Lance's girlfriend when we first met, correct? Yes, I am, but, well, it's not like we both think of each other as lovers. But he did give me this ring, so I guess we're not just friends either? I mean, because this isn't just any ordinary ring. It tastes so sweet when you lick it. It's so wonderful. You mean to tell me that he gave you a lollipop ring? So which is it? Have you guys not decided if you're going out, or is it just one-sided? Decided. Shouldn't the parties involved naturally just know? My father used to work for Mr. Amano, and so Lance and I grew up together. I said it out loud! I don't see how that's anything to be embarrassed about. So your father was an employee of the Amano Group? What did he do? I heard his job was to fly around the world. On Pegasus. Pegasus? Oh, Pegasus was the name of the airplane. The airplane belonged to the company. You had me there for a second! But now it's all changed. My father, he isn't around anymore. Oh, I see. About 10 years ago, he rode in Pegasus off to somewhere and never returned. Hiding Pegasus to whereabouts unknown. Sounds like the stuff legends are made of. It's been so long, I don't think I'd recognize him if we were ever to meet again. I'm so sorry, Lauren. But I won't give in to the sadness. I have to live. Yes, Lauren, live! About this incident. Incident? But isn't the kidnapping already over and dealt with? I've been here the whole time, so I'm afraid I don't know much about any other incident. How did you come to know that Lance had been kidnapped? Oh, that's because of my woman's intuition. You based everything on that? I know everything when it comes to my Lance. It's really strange. It really must be destiny. She started fantasizing again. So what are you going to do now, Mr. Edgeworth? You already established that there's a good chance that the killer is the other kidnapper. It's my duty to figure out who this other person is. I believe there is one location that might hold a clue or two. Ooh, the place where we were held as prisoners. Hold it! Don't let me in with you. I can't allow you to slander my good name as a great thief by saying I was captured. Not being able to escape from somewhere qualifies you as a caged bird, Kay. Besides, we checked that place out pretty well while we were there, remember? Don't you think it'd be an even better idea to check somewhere else? Perhaps you are right. What I really need right now are leads to the killer's identity. I believe there is one location that might hold a clue or two. Perhaps the kidnapper's hideout? The obvious location is the kidnapper's hideout, but we're still not allowed in, remember? Agent Lang and his men should be done with this area. In that case, there's no harm in asking that officer over there to let us in. What do you have to report? Sir! Nothing unusual or out of the ordinary, sir! Where have I heard such redundancy before? Is it possible for you to let us take a look around the side? Sir! Roger, sir! That was surprisingly hassle-free. Are you certain? Didn't Agent Lang order you not to allow me in? Sir! That's true, sir, but... Detective Gumshoe actually personally let you in, sir. I'm not going to refuse a request from him. Wow, looks like Detective Gumshoe has a following. Furthermore, I was asked to give this document to you, sir. What is this? The man in this picture, isn't this Mr. Oliver Deacon? Colin DeVore. Gender, male, dominant hand, right. Height, 5'8", weight, 123.45 pounds. Whereabouts unknown after his escape from Penedent Prison. Stole a gun from a guard during his escape. We thought he might head for where his wife and sole daughter are, but... I can't see what the rest says. Yes, okay. The name here says Colin DeVore. That's the same name as the one on the back of the pendant. It appears that Colin DeVore was his real name. What's this? He was convicted in a case 10 years ago and sent to prison. What? And what was he doing here? Apparently he broke out of jail and then just vanished. He must have become Oliver Deacon to cover up the fact that he was an escaped felon. But despite our surveillance, no, we haven't found him yet. Now I'm not sure what's going on anymore. Is there some sort of link between the victim's past and this current case? These police documents are rather detailed. I should take the time to give them a thorough read eventually. It's fine. Let's focus on one thing at a time, starting with the kidnapper's hideout. Yeah, I agree. We should investigate first. Think later. More than thinking things through, I think you should try remembering things first. Now then, if you could please unlock the door, officer. It was locked up until a little while ago, but since then the door's been wide open, sir. I'm not sure I follow what it is you're saying. Care to explain in a bit more detail? Sir, the door was locked down tight when they went to check out the room, so they got about 10 officers to help out and break the door down, sir. I see. I guess that means I get Agent Lang's leftovers. Well, let's see what we find. So this is where the kidnappers planned their foul deed, while you were tied up for a while in the room next door. Kay, please, must you bring that up again? Now then, down to business. There might still be some clues left in this room. Let's try to find out what we can of the other kidnapper's identity. I won't rest until I've inspected every suspicious nook and cranny. Why is there 3 cups of coffee here? Yeah, that looks... That's weird, right? There's nothing unusual about this area. Folding chairs, and by the looks of it, they were probably used by the kidnappers. There are 3 chairs set around the table. Cheap styrofoam cups. Looks like only 3 cups were used. This door is thoroughly broken thanks to the police who forced it open. I won't rest until I've inspected every suspicious nook and cranny. That doorknob handle thingy is looking pretty beat up. I suppose that's what happens when 10 officers break their way in with brute force. Hey, that's odd. The lock on this is completely fine. Look, not a single dent. How is that possible after what that officer told us? Yeah, if the lock had been in use when the door was busted down, then the lock itself should be completely wrecked. So the lock on the door leading to the outside is undamaged. How can that be? Looks like a sword. A broken sword. Strange. Why would it be broken like that? Swords don't usually break on their own. That's true. Alright then, let's think about it in this way. Maybe it broke when someone was trying to use it for or on something. Hypotheticals aren't going to get us anywhere. Perhaps we should think more on this later. The panel that hid the entrance to the underground is propped up and wide open. Be careful where you foot, Kay. I only fell into that other opening once, you know. Ooh, they have barrels like these just outside. Yes, and? Well, I know I already asked you when we were out there, but if these were real, what would you put in them? There's an expectant gleam in her eyes, and I'm about to dash. This must be where they dispose of old and worn-out costumes. That's so sad. It seems that they throw the costumes away in pieces. Hooray! Time to think of some logic! Now this one, and this one right here, the folding chairs and 3 cups, this one's way too easy. Why is there 3 chairs and 3 cups? It's like, wouldn't it make sense for there to only be 2 cups and 2 chairs? Now, unless they had a 3rd accomplice, that's the thing. The common denominator between the cups and the folding chairs is the number 3. Speaking of which, the number of missing costumes is also 3. Wait, but I thought there were only 2 kidnappers. Indeed, something isn't adding up, literally. Is it possible there is a 3rd kidnapper that Lance didn't see? It's a bit strange that the police had to force their way into an unlocked room. One look at the pristine door lock, and anyone could see that it was not in use at the time. But the policeman outside said it took 10 men to get it open. A door that was locked tight despite it being not locked at all. It can only be because of this. Oh, you mean... Yes, it was used to jam the door. Here, take a look at the door handle. You see how the handle is completely destroyed? So that's how the sword broke. I thought that we might uncover the true identity of the kidnappers, but instead we've only uncovered more questions that need to be answered. What the? Ah! What is it? Well, Mr. Edgeworth, am I correct? What are you doing suddenly popping out of the secret entrance like that? This is an underground passage used by staff members, sir. We Badgers also make use of it in our duties. Look, why don't you get out of there first, and then we'll talk, okay? Oh, I beg your pardon, miss. Pro Badger, get! Alright, only one more to go. What are you getting all excited about? Did you forget? The photo rally, duh! See, look! Now all I have to do is get a picture of the Bad Badger and I'm done. Ah, yes, I vaguely recall a contest or something of that sort. What? It's gone! But where did it go? What happened? What's wrong? A Bad Badger costume is missing, sir. Oh, is that all? Well, it's missing because the kidnapper stole it. I heard about how they were stolen, but they said that only 3 of the costumes had been taken. What? Is he saying that more than 3 of them are gone? Mr. Proto Badger, please tell me a little more about these costumes you use. What did you mean by a Bad Badger costume is missing? Why, just what I said, sir. We are 1 Bad Badger short. Counting the spares, we have 2 of each costume on hand at all times. Okay, so because one of them is walking around in the park, the other should be in that room. Actually, both of them should be in that room. Huh? What do you mean? Normally, we don't use the Bad Badger costumes. In fact, we only use them during a certain event at a set time each day. It's a stage show where the Bad Badger wreaks havoc around the park, and the other Badgers must work together to apprehend them, sir. I'm speechless that such a show exists. Well, sir, I was just trying to explain to you the only time we use that costume. And doesn't that make it near impossible to take a picture of the Bad Badger? Personally, I can't believe that it's this close to showtime and there's no costume. Oh dear, what am I to do, sir? All this basically means that the kidnapper stole 4 costumes in total. And are you saying that there are 4 kidnappers? No, I don't think that's very likely. Oh? Recall the costumes first. The stolen ones, you mean? What proves that a 4th kidnapper does not exist? It would be... Take that! The Pink Badger costume, yeah? If you had 4 people and you had wanted to steal a 4th costume, wouldn't you naturally go for the full set and steal a Pink Badger costume instead? Yeah, that makes sense. And yet, the kidnappers decided to steal another Bad Badger. I believe the culprits needed 2 Bad Badger costumes. The question is, why? Maybe the other one was covered in blood? Second Bad Badger costume. I believe it may be closer at hand than we think. What do you mean? That costume in the trash. When you say that it's wearing some very telltale pants? Hey, you're right! Let's get it out of there and take a look. Oh, it's got a rip on it. As I suspected, it's a Bad Badger costume. Well, minus the head. I won't rest until I've inspected every suspicious-looking nook and cranny. What's with the rip in its hand? Look, his hand is hurt. It looks more like something was ripped off of it. Is this spot somehow connected to any of the evidence I hold? Wait, doesn't the Blue Badger... the Bad Badger have a gun on its costume? Eureka! It would be this, right? I believe what we have here is an inconsistency. Between what? Look carefully. Our costume is not holding something in its right hand that it should be. Oh, the gun! Precisely. The Bad Badger was designed to always hold a gun in his right hand. However... You there! Did you remove the gun from this Bad Badger's right hand? No, I did not, sir. The gun is supposed to be securely attached to the costume. As I thought, the rip itself confirms my hypothesis that the gun was forcibly removed. Mr. Proto-Badger, the gun is, of course, not a functioning weapon, correct? Absolutely not, sir. It's just a model gun. However, it can fire blanks. We need to use them for the stage show. It seems that our kidnappers also had a need for the model gun, my dear costume friend. I think we're about done with this room. So, what's next? Well, we found a few answers, but there are still a few things left that we have to ask a certain person about. Let's go, Kay! March 13th, 3:34 p.m., Wild Wild West area. Mr. Edgeworth, sir! You gotta hurry, sir. Come on. What is it, detective? They found a blue badger costume down in front of the main gate, sir. What? Isn't that what one of the kidnappers was wearing? Bingo. That's why you've got to come to the main gate with me right now. If we hurry, we still might be able to get there before Wolf Boy does, sir. All right, let's make haste to the main gate. March 13th, 3:45 p.m., Gatewater Landman Gate. Where's the costume detective come to? Just on the other side of the fountain, sir. Was it out here in the open all along? No, it was discovered in the tall grass back there. We moved it out here in order to examine it more thoroughly. Let's get down to it. I won't rest until I've inspected every suspicious-looking nook and cranny. Hello. What do we have here? Oh, it's another pendant. That's 2 treasures in one day. How lucky is that? And hey, this pretty baby's made of platinum silver too. Another pendant on top of the one we found on Mr. Deacon? Is it possible that these two... Hold it right there! Hands off, Mr. Prosecutor. You sure know how to cross the line, don't you? Ah! A pendant, huh? This is a very decisive piece of evidence. How can you tell? Look here and read off what you see. Lauren. Hey, it's the name that's engraved on this. Aha! We have you now, Miss Kidnapper. No, you don't understand. Lolly, I can't believe you were one of my kidnappers. Lance. You're kidding. Miss Pops was one of the kidnappers? Yes. It was me. I held Lance hostage. So Miss Pops is one of the kidnappers? But even knowing that, I can't call this case solved or over. Hey, guys! Case closed! Get the car ready, and I mean the special one for this case. Again, Mr. Prosecutor, what is it this time? Are you proposing that Miss Pops is also the culprit in the murder case? What happened? I thought Officer Meekins was your suspect. We found it. Found what? That officer's gun. Literally dropped it in the middle of a thick patch of grass. Your country's police are a sham. Just look at how careless they are. Who are you calling a sham? The officer's gun didn't show signs of having been fired, so it can't be the murder weapon. So Officer Meekins has been cleared of all charges, I see. And that's when a brand new suspect comes walking onto the scene. The murder only happened because the kidnappers started fighting amongst themselves. As I recall, it was you who said that, right, Mr. Prosecutor? Miss Pops, did you really kill Mr. Deacon? Yes, I killed him. I can't believe it! Thanks for the confession! Objection! Agent Lang, it's much too early to declare this case closed. Look at you, so sure of yourself. We've got the culprit's own confession and some very incriminating evidence. What more could you ask for? Miss Lauren Pops. Yes? I want to hear it from you. Tell me your side of all that has happened today, from the kidnapping to the murder. But why? I'm a kidnapper and the killer. Isn't that enough? It's fine if you're the one behind everything, but only if that is the truth. Now then, will you tell us the truth? Or is there some reason why you can't? I've had a change of heart. I think I enjoy seeing you sulk away as the losing mutt. Alright, you heard me. Let's hear about all the evil deeds you committed today. Miss Pops' confession. The one who came up with the kidnapping plan was the butler, Mr. Deacon. We knew that we could get rich by holding Lance hostage. Mr. Amano would pay anything to get his son back, after all. Everything was going according to plan, but as soon as we got the money, Mr. Deacon turned on me and tried to kill me. There. Are you satisfied? She just confessed to her crimes a second time. At least you have the guts to admit what you've done. I can at least respect that much. Miss Pops, is what you said really the truth? Yes, it is. That is the truth. It certainly isn't the whole truth, because there is something that seems a bit too improbable in her confession. The one who came up with the kidnapping plan was the butler, Mr. Deacon. We knew that we could get rich by holding Lance hostage. Mr. Amano would pay anything to get his son back after all. Everything was going according to plan, but as soon as we got the money, Mr. Deacon turned on me and tried to kill me. That doesn't add up. Just because I noticed something. The pendant that was on Mr. Deacon or Mr. Devore's body also has the exact same same initial on the one that's got Lauren's name, D. So that means her real name is Devore, which makes Colin her father. There's no way he would have killed her and tried to kill her. Why do you think he did? I have no idea, but maybe he had planned on doing so from the very beginning. Miss Pops. Wait, Mr. Deacon planned to kill Miss Pops from the very beginning? Was that ever really likely to happen? What should I do? Should I raise an objection? Yes! I'm sorry, but I don't think what you just claimed is all that likely. Huh? I don't think Mr. Deacon would have ever been capable of killing me. But why? We were total strangers! It's not uncommon for people to kill each other over money. Miss Pops, you really are clueless, aren't you? What do you mean? You never knew what your role in the kidnapping was, nor do you know who you really are. But I do. I can show you with this piece of evidence. This proves that Mr. Deacon wouldn't have been able to bring himself to kill Miss Pops. Take that! Why are you showing this to me? So what about the pendant? This pair of weights, along with this piece of evidence, shows who you really are. Take that! These two pendants resemble each other, wouldn't you agree? Hey, you're right! They're the same color! They're even made of the same material! I believe that these two pendants are actually one. Shall we give it a try? Wow, it's totally Pegasus! But why? Why does my pendant match up with Mr. Deacon's? You're a smart lady. I'm sure you can imagine why that might be. What? No, that can't be! You make a set. It's just another trinket. It's not as though this changes anything. You lack imagination, Mine. Very well, I'll show you with this evidence. This is the piece of evidence that gives meaning to the Pegasus pendant. Take that! Oliver Deacon was just an alias for this man. His real name was Colin Devore, the name that is etched on the fourth pendant. What? An alias? I suppose he had to hide the fact that he was a felon somehow in order to live. It makes sense given what is written in Mr. Devore's dossier. What I really wanted to point out was this. This specific section is what reveals the true meaning behind this pendant. Right here. Mr. Devore had one daughter, and her name is Lauren Pops. That's a lie! That person was not my father! He couldn't come out and tell you he was your father because he was in hiding. However, I believe he was trying to secretly watch over you. You still believe that a man like that could kill the daughter he was separated from? Or even that such a man would allow his daughter to get involved in a kidnapping plot? And what is so funny, Agent Lang? You're good at making things up in your head and deciding it's the truth, aren't you? What are you trying to say? Your thinking is much too innocent. After all, I've thought of another possibility. Is that so? Well, let's hear it. Another possibility. I'll grant you that the two of them are father and daughter, but isn't it possible that they both knew that fact? It was no coincidence that the reunited pair became involved in House of Ohtani, and the two of them made good use of their meetings to plan this little kidnapping. Wouldn't you say my scenario is perfectly probable as well? This is his version of how things might have been. You don't have any proof that they didn't know of their true relationship, right? And you're saying that the two of them committed the kidnapping together? That's right, as one really rotten family. Is that really what happened? I had better take a long, hard look at the evidence. I'll grant you that the two of them are father and daughter. But isn't it possible that they both knew that fact? It was no coincidence that the reunited pair became involved in the House of Amano. And the two of them made good use of their meetings to plan this little kidnapping. If that's the truth, what about the stolen costume? Like, that doesn't add up. If they had planned it out, why is there two, wait a minute. Yeah, they didn't plan that. No, they couldn't have planned that, because there's too many costumes missing. This kidnapping wasn't planned by just two people alone. And what kind of proof do you have of that? Quite simply, there were 3 kidnappers. 3?! 4 costumes were stolen from the Wild West area's back. We found one of them in the kidnapper's hideout. But as for the other 3, we could assume they were being worn by 3 different people. We also found a set of 3 cups and 3 folding chairs that were used in the hideout. It all clearly points to a 3-man group. I believe this third person is the real mastermind behind the kidnapping. Who? Who is this mastermind? I present to you the brains behind the kidnapping. Lance! Lance Amano? Yes, this abduction was in fact schemed up by Lance himself. Recall what he said when he appeared before us. Did you see the faces of your kidnappers? No, I didn't see their faces, but 2. One was a woman. However, there were 3 kidnappers, which is a direct contradiction to what he said. But, I know I only saw 2 people. This guy was being held hostage. It's possible he couldn't see all 3 of them. Ah, yes, about when you were being held. I have my doubts about what happened then. Lance, would you mind telling us what happened while you were being held captive? I really don't remember much anymore. Honest. But if I don't tell you at least something, you won't believe me at all, will you? I was kidnapped yesterday morning. They had me shut in that room, blindfolded the entire time. But the kidnapper suddenly disappeared around the time I had heard rain falling outside. My hands were cuffed, but it was a stroke of luck that they left me alone. I made my escape and ran away from that room as fast as I could. Through the underground passageway, I presume. Are you okay? Sorry, I really didn't want to recall that horrible ordeal, but now you believe me, right? No, not quite yet. Ha! How can you not? Why do you look at me with icy daggers in your eyes? Well, he's a prosecutor, and because they're all like that. I'll have you know, Agent Lang, and prosecutors' eyes are for discerning the truth. And should they be interpreted to be cruel at times, then so be it. There's a sticking point in Lance's testimony. Let's see what he offers up when I push a little. I was kidnapped yesterday morning. They had me shut in that room, blindfolded the entire time. But the kidnapper suddenly disappeared around the time I heard rain falling outside. My hands were cuffed, but it was a stroke of luck that they left me alone. I made my escape and ran away from that room as fast as I could.
Hold it!
How did you manage to escape? I wanted to just get out of there, but the door leading outside was locked, which is why I had to use the underground passageway to make my escape. I remember our escape to be equally as hard. This is an invaluable piece of testimony. I mustn't let it go unexamined. The door leading outside was locked tight, so I had to use the underground passageway. It wasn't locked.
Objection!
You say that the door leading out was locked, but was it really? We're talking about that room behind the saloon front, right? Look, I heard that it took quite a few men to get that thing open. Right, Sheena? Yes, that's correct. But take a look at this. What is that? A sword? Not an especially reliable one if it's broken like that. Allow me to start from the end. My conclusion is that the door was never locked. It was simply held shut by this sword, which was used to jam the handle. Lance, even though your hands were cuffed together, you could still use them. If that's the case, then why did you not just simply remove the sword and escape? Why didn't I? I was disoriented. Yes, that's it. I didn't notice it. As if I should accept such a bold-faced lie. You locked yourself in that room because you had to make yourself look like the victim. But you did not, in fact, possess the key to the door. That is why you used the prop store to improvise to create a prison of your very own. You've been making this guy out to be one of the kidnappers for some time now. I wonder if you've forgotten something very important along the way. And what would that be? A motive! What else? You honestly think that an upright, pure boy like him would hatch up a completely pointless scheme such as kidnapping himself? This proves that Lance did indeed have a motive to commit this crime.
Take that!
To put it simply, Lance has a very urgent need for money. It is hardly your typical love letter. It is in fact a collections bill. It appears our upsetting boy has accumulated quite a debt. Isn't that right? Ugh! Looks like it's hard being the son of a rich man, too. It must be rough when you have to resort to stealing from your own old man, huh? Oh, right, I give up. I abducted myself. Lance! It's over, Lolly. In this life, we really are bound to our fates, after all. All I wanted was to go with you to a new town, somewhere where no one would know us. I wanted us to be well off with that 1 million, but now that dream is over. Oh, Lance! And you are giving yourself up? Yes, I had planned to run away from this world with my Lolly. Oliver even helped us with the plan, but then he had to go and stab us in the back. He turned on you? Maybe he didn't want to split the ransom money, that's my guess. It happened almost right after you made the drop-off. When we were alone, he attacked me all of a sudden. After a brief struggle, I was able to contain him and keep him under control. We left him inside that room as Lolly and I made our escape. We wore different costumes and split up. Lolly left first to the Blue Badger costume. It would mean the person Officer Meekin saw was his pops. Right then, the old man just had to wake up. I was careless and he tackled me pretty hard from behind. And Oliver put on a bad Badger costume, took the suitcase with $1 million and ran. I contacted Lolly right away and warned her that he had a gun. He had no idea that they were related, so I thought that it could only end badly. I still don't believe it. That person was not my father. Because if he was, I just killed my own father. Lolly, then it really was you? That man was not my father. I mean, because at the stadium, there was a bad Badger pulling the suitcase with the 1 million in it. But that Badger pointed his gun at me, aiming to shoot me dead. That's why I used the gun I got from Lance. There was a gunshot. The other person crumpled to the ground, and I ran, scared for my life. I think the big picture is finally coming into focus, don't you? Lolly, forgive me. I didn't think it would turn into something so frightening. If only I could have protected you. What a liar. So, Miss Pops, she shot her own dad without even knowing who he really was? If what she says is true, are you saying she's lying? But why would she lie about something like that? What purpose would it serve? You would be surprised how often people lie without even realizing it themselves, Kay. Huh? What's that supposed to mean? What I mean is, listen very carefully to her confession once more and you'll see. Wait. Okay. There was a bad Badger pulling the suitcase with the 1 million. But that Badger pointed his gun at me, aiming to shoot me dead. Hold it! Something about that. Were you able to clearly see the gun? Yes, I got a very good look at it while it was pointed at me. Oh, Father, why would you try to shoot me? Do you really think a father would shoot his own daughter, Mr. Edgeworth? I don't know. I don't want to believe it myself. But it's true, my father's left arm was raised with a gun in it. Pointed straight at me. I'm about to die, I thought. Miss Pops. Please calm down and take a deep breath. And then, would you allow me to please hear that last statement one more time? Yes, of course. Left arm? Mr. Devorey was right-handed. But that Badger pointed the gun in his left hand at me, aiming to shoot me dead. No, that's not possible. That's not possible. He's right-handed.
Objection!
I have here a dossier on your father. And according to this, your father was right-handed. Ah, then the person pointing a gun at you from atop the stage is not...
Not so fast!
Hold on there, Mr. Prosecutor. I think you need to take a refresher course. Badger has a model gun attached to his right hand, which is why the only hand he could have held a real gun with was his left. Isn't it possible that it went down like that? Agent Lang, were you paying attention to what Miss Potts was saying? Then again, I suppose I can't expect someone who has never set foot in court to catch it. Enough with the smugness! Out with it already! Miss Potts told us earlier. There was a Bad Badger pulling the suitcase with the $1 million in it. According to you, the Bad Badger had the gun in his left hand, which would mean that he was pulling the suitcase with his right hand. Is that correct, Miss Potts? Yes, exactly. And I'm sure it was the Bad Badger. It had those huge sunglasses on its face. If that's the case, even I can see there is a huge contradiction. Yes, Miss Potts claims to have seen the Bad Badger, and yet the Bad Badger had both of his hands full. These two pieces of information contradict each other, so one must be wrong. It wasn't the Bad Badger. It couldn't have been, because if it was the Bad Badger, his right hand would have had the gun in it, and would have had a model gun stuck to it, and he wouldn't have been able to be dragging the suitcase with his right hand. So that's not possible. So maybe it was somebody using a different Badger body, but had the Bad Badger's headpiece. It wasn't the Bad Badger. Miss Potts, what you saw was not the Bad Badger. Think back and recall which character was it that leveled the gun at you. But it was wearing a pair of sunglasses and had that strange blue beard. That sums up the Bad Badger pretty well, I'd say. Bad for you, but it looks like the Bad Badger wasn't a mistake here. What? Okay. I need to think carefully about the facts here. Miss Potts claims to have seen the Bad Badger. Yet the Bad Badger had both of his hands full with something or another. These two pieces of information contradict each other, so one must be wrong. If it ain't that. And no, definitely his hands were occupied, so... Both are correct? They are both correct. Impossible! That just leaves us with an irresolvable contradiction. Potts' entire statement rests on the fact that she saw his sunglasses and beard. What if that Bad Badger wasn't wearing pants on his lower half? It proves that there was a way for the Bad Badger to freely use both of his hands.
Take that!
The costumes have two parts to them, a head and the body. Oh, I get it now! The head Miss Potts saw was probably really the head of the Bad Badger. However, is it not possible that the body was that of an entirely different Badger? A different Badger? Yes, to put it more bluntly, I believe it was the lower half of this Badger. The body of the Bad Badger Miss Potts saw was really...
Take that!
What? The heck is it? It's the Proto-Badger. Yes, it is a simple matter of process of elimination. Miss Potts was wearing the blue Badger's costume, so we can eliminate that one. And the pink Badger is of the wrong color, which would have been incredibly obvious. All that is left is the Proto-Badger costume. Miss Potts, who is the one who wore the Proto-Badger costume? That would be Lance.
Not so fast!
Are you saying what I think you are? That Lance Amano donned the Bad Badger's head and pretended to be Mr. Deacon? On top of which he plotted to shoot Miss Potts while wearing that hideous thing? The stage that was set up in the stadium was nothing more than that, a setup. And his purpose was to lead Miss Potts into believing she had committed murder. Standing there in front of Miss Potts and pretending to be the victim, it was all done so that she would pull the trigger. I have no idea what you're talking about. Why exactly would I have had to do all that, huh? There's but one reason. Lance Amano, you are the real culprit behind the murder of Mr. Oliver Deacon. What? No! That's slander! Take it back! You take it back right now! It's out of curiosity, Lance. Which is your dominant hand? I'm left-handed. What does that have to do with anything? It depends. According to Miss Potts, her attack held a gun in his left hand. Ha! Who is what-handed doesn't prove a thing. And besides, now you're just being absurd. It's not like the Proto-Badger is bulletproof. One misfire and he would have found himself dead, right? Of course, logically, if he had been shot, he probably wouldn't be here with us. But I believe he had thought of that as well, and prepared accordingly. This should be all the evidence you need. This is how Lance made sure that he wouldn't be hit by a bullet.
Take that!
He found one half of a bad badger costume in the hideout, a broken one. It was not the same one that the victim was wearing, plus it was missing something. And that something is the model gun that the bad badger carries, which can fire blanks. What? Miss Pops, where's the gun you use now? I threw it away into the sea. That makes it a bit tough to verify what it was. Although, I believe that we can safely assume that it was the model gun in question. I've heard enough. All you've been spouting so far is pure conjecture. I admit that as long as the model gun is lost to us, I can't prove I'm right. However, I can say that the probability that I am right is very high. Okay, let's pretend that you're right, and that the murder at the stadium was a fabrication. In that case, where do you think the murder really took place, Mr. Prosecutor? I don't know yet. Ha! I knew you were full of it. However, I do believe that the murder took place during an earlier time frame. Please, wait a second. It's simply not possible. Because I saw Mr. Deacon after he was restrained by Lance. She saw the victim in the state of being restrained? Hold on. Alright, let me take a bathroom break right fast. Okay, we're back. Just needed that bathroom break. What Miss Popsis saw. I came back to the hideout long after the other two. By that time, Lance had already subdued and restrained Mr. Deacon. He had tied Mr. Deacon securely to the beam in the room next door. After that, the two of us put on our costumes and made our escape. So Mr. Deacon must have escaped after the two of you left, right? We thought that it'd attract too much attention if we left together, so I left first. We planned to meet up again at the stage in the stadium. But then, as I was walking through the park, I got a call from Lance on my cell phone. Oliver managed to escape. It looked like he was waiting until I was alone. He also stole the gun from me at that time. And then the murder happened. Mr. Deacon must have overheard their plan to meet up at the stage. Well, Mr. Prosecutor, Miss Pop saw the victim with her own eyes, which means that the victim was still alive at that time, wouldn't you agree? Why does that sound wrong to me? There must be something amiss about this account. Let's see what happens when I examine it in more detail. I came back to the hideout long after the other two. By that time, Lance had already subdued and restrained Mr. Deacon. He had tied Mr. Deacon securely to the beam in the room next door.
Hold it!
You are sure that it was Mr. Deacon that you saw? Yes, I am certain of what I saw. Did you go into the other room to check? Lance said that it was best if I didn't get too close to him. Lance, he's such a kind soul. Then are you telling me that you did not confirm that it was Mr. Deacon for yourself? I checked through the slit in the door that separates the two rooms. He had a bad badger's head on, so I'm absolutely sure. That just had to be Mr. Deacon. She saw a bad badger head? The captive had a bad badger's head on, so I'm absolutely sure it was Mr. Deacon.
Hold it!
So the tied up Mr. Deacon was still in his bad badger costume. Yes, and it would appear that she misread the whole situation. What now? Should I raise an objection? The person you saw was not the victim. What? Why not? I would tell you why not. With this. This, Miss Pop, shows that the person you saw was not the victim.
Take that!
Miss Pops, the person you saw was not Mr. Deacon at all. Huh? The person you actually saw was this person. It was me. Huh? The person I saw was you, Mr. Edgeworth? I always thought it was a bit odd. Why would the kidnappers abduct me, even after I had handed over the ransom? It's not as though I saw the face of the kidnappers. If I were them, I would have just taken $1 million and ran. But in the end, that's the point to it all. It was to make me look like Mr. Deacon. And if that was the reason for which I was abducted, then I believe we could assume that the victim was already dead at that time. Well, Lance, am I right? That's... You showed Miss Pulse a person, namely me, with a bad badger's head on, and then made your costumes escape together. Or so you pretended. Huh? You mean he pretended? Exactly that. I believe Lance watched you escape, and then doubled back to the hideout. Probably to come and remove the bad badger head from my unconscious self. And to create a fake prison with a prop sword. He then escaped via the passageway. Hold your tongue, boy! Don't get caught up in that tidal wave of words coming out of Mr. Prosecutor's mouth. Tidal wave? We've heard a lot come out of you, but I've yet to see a shred of evidence. The victim's betrayal and subsequent detainment, all of that could have happened while you were out cold. But that's right! You were out for quite a while, Mr. Prosecutor! Even if that were the case, Miss Pops would have still seen me tied to that beam. I was scared of Mr. Deacon, so I didn't go into the next room. So I really have no idea if you were in there or not, Mr. Edgeworth. You see? It would seem that you can't prove a thing. Who said that? Please wait. Mr. Amano! Miles, my boy, it looks like you're really giving it your all. And Lance, it's not good to cause trouble for others. Dad! Let's see. You are the one in charge of the investigation, correct? Yeah, that's right. I'm sorry that my son has been nothing but trouble. He probably won't make up for anything, but I have some evidence for you. Oh, do you now? Is that what I think it is? It's the bad badger costume the victim was wearing. And a gun! I couldn't wait around for the police, so I went and found these myself. It appears that they were disposed of in the sea. Ah! Is there no one in this country who actually obeys the law? There, there. There now. Agent Lang, please calm down. What the heck is that scrap of paper? This appears to be a letter from the Chief of Police. Please allow Mr. Amano complete freedom to do as he sees fit, it says. What? The Chief of Police? What the? Just who does he think he is? The person who wields the highest authority in this area. Oh, there now. There is no need to be so upset. I'm not a cop for this land, so I'm not bound by the laws of your country. Now. This wasn't meant to strong-arm you or anything. It's just a request. I'm only asking us to please respect the laws of the land. I can't really say no to that. However, returning to the topic at hand, it doesn't matter who found the evidence. Its value remains unchanged. Alright now, let's take a look at this new evidence. I've already got the results back. I had a special forensics research lab that I'm on good terms with conduct a test. They verified that the blood on his cotton belonged to Oliver. As for the gun, the only fingerprints they could find were yours, Lauren! What? You disappoint me, Miles. I can't believe that you would cause my son such stress and heartache! Thank goodness I was able to find the final pieces of evidence. With this, you'll have no reason left to push my poor boy around. That's it? These are the case-making pieces of evidence? Ha! I'll be the judge of that. I won't rest until I've inspected every suspicious-looking nook and cranny. What's this? It looks like there's something inside the costume thing. Hey, they sparkle. I bet they're really valuable. Sorry, but they're just pieces of a mirror. But why are they in here? Could this gun be the actual murder weapon? This bullet hole. It looks like kind of burnt around the edges. Wait, those burn marks were left by the gunpowder. This is the most important fact. Why is that? Because it is proof that the victim was shot at point-blank range. Well, are these not the most definitive pieces of evidence you've ever seen? Thank you, Dad. This should be enough to convince even Mr. Edgeworth over there. Decisive evidence. Make no mistake, there are fingerprints on that murderous gun. And they prove that it was Lolly who killed Oliver. Well, Oliver was also after Lolly's life. So Mr. Edgeworth, you must see that Lolly was only acting as self-defense. The fingerprints on the weapon, huh? Oh no, this isn't helpful at all! Look, Mr. Edgeworth, all I want to do is save Lolly. But in the end, all I can do is watch on as she takes the punishment for her crimes. That may be all you can do, however. I still have a case to solve and the job of unraveling your insidious lie. You wound me. Why won't you believe me, even in the face of all this evidence? Make no mistake, there are fingerprints on that murderous gun.
Hold it!
Those fingerprints, are you sure they belong to Miss Pops? There's no mistake about it. Through my connections, I have the best forensic techniques money can be performed. I find that to be a bit peculiar. What? Are you trying to pick an argument with me? What should I do? Should I raise an objection? Yes. Frankly, I don't believe that Miss Pop's print should be on that gun to begin with. And the reason why Miss Pop's print should not be on that gun is...
Take that!
It's simply not possible for Miss Pops to have left any prints on the murder weapon, because while she was at the stadium, Miss Pops was wearing a costume. Huh? But there's been no mistake! We found fingerprints! Well, Miss Pops, do you remember touching the gun at all at any time? Yes. As a matter of fact, I did hold it for a bit back in the hideout. I handed it off to Mr. Deacon when he and Lance left for the haunted house. To retrieve the ransom money, I suppose. And there you have it. That is when Miss Pops' prints found their way onto the gun. You understand now, Mr. Amano? The fingerprints do nothing to prove that Miss Pops is the murderer. But you still don't have anything to prove that she isn't the killer, right? You seem very adamant about insisting that your girlfriend is a cold-blooded killer. Oh, Lance! What? No way! I'm incredibly worried about her! But that doesn't change the fact that you don't have any evidence, right? That's where you're wrong. I have the evidence. What? How? The story that Miss Pups killed a victim at the stage of the stadium. The whole affair is simply not true, because that was not the real crime scene, but a setup. This proves that the real murder was not committed at the stadium at all.
Take that!
Let us take another good look at the costume the victim was wearing. Then, I believe you will see why I insist he was not shot at the stadium. This is the part of the costume that proves it. It's the bullet hole, yeah? Because...
Take that!
That wouldn't make sense. The burn around this bullet hole was made when the victim was shot at point-blank range. So then, you mean the murder Miss Oldbag saw at the stadium really was? Yes, she saw two people, but they were separated by a distance. If the victim was indeed shot from below the stage, there shouldn't be a gunpowder burn. Ah! Look at you, Mr. Sparty Pants Prosecutor. Since you seem to know all the answers, why not tell us where the real crime scene is, then? Lance set me up to look like Mr. Deacon back at the hideout. If that's the case, then the murder must have happened prior to that. And the location where Lance and the victim were at just before I was in prison was... I got it! I know the real scene of the murder! The real location in which Mr. Deacon was killed is here! It would be the haunted house, yeah? That's the only place that makes sense. Especially with the mirror fragments in the headpiece. Because the haunted house was filled with mirrors.
Take that!
I think it's not unreasonable to assume the murder took place in the haunted house. The haunted house? Yes, and I have proof that it is highly likely that the victim was killed there. What proves that the real scene of the crime was the haunted house? Don't do that.
Take that!
These were inside the costume the victim was wearing. They're fragments of a mirror. A mirror? And what does that have to do with anything? Indeed, you don't exactly expect to find pieces of a mirror inside a costume. Yeah, that's actually pretty dangerous. However, there is one place I can think of where there is a plethora of mirror fragments. And that is the haunted house. Lance Amano, I propose that you killed Mr. Deacon with the revolver in the haunted house. After that, you stole the Blue Badgermobile to move his body to the Wild Wild West area. The timing of when the Blue Badgermobile was stolen confirms this as a fact. Miles, my boy, say no more! I'm sorry, Mr. Amano, but I cannot do that. Be quiet! Yes, please do something! Stop that boy from speaking any more nonsense! Ernest Amano, correct? I met you. Now be quiet, Gramps. How dare you! I don't need words. The only thing I require is evidence. Decisive evidence. And call these mirror bits decisive is a bit too presumptuous, Mr. Prosecutor. What? Sheena, wasn't there a mirror in the kidnapper's hideout? Yes, there was a mirror there. A mirror that's for the haunted house. You see? Isn't it possible the fragments got into the costumes there? In Ancient Lang, there were no fragments on the floor, so the probability is very low. Probability? Lang Z says, on truth's path, the word probability does not exist. The only thing that does is definitive proof. The question, Mr. Prosecutor, is, do you have the definitive proof you need? Well, Mr. Edgeworth, do you? Do I have solid evidence that proves the murder took place at the haunted house? The answer is no. See? So since you don't have any, shut up! I don't have the evidence yet, but I'm certain the murder occurred around the time I turned the ransom over. At that time, the only people at the haunted house, besides myself, were Lance and Mr. Deacon. If I can prove that the murder took place at the haunted house, then I can prove Lance's guilt in connection to the murder. What now, Mr. Edgeworth? Agent Lang, I have a special request. Yeah? I'd like to prove to you that the scene of the crime was indeed the haunted house. Why in the world are you asking the werewolf for permission? Because I don't really have a choice if I want to find the truth. Alright, permission granted, but you're not to touch a single thing, got it? That won't be a problem. All that's important to me is that the truth be brought to light. It doesn't matter by who or how it's done, as long as it is. Ugh! Sheena! I'm here. Put in the paperwork for the authorization immediately. Understood. I'll go get the Great Gate Waterproof's approval. Who was that? Now, let's hold on for a second. There's no need to obtain approval. Mr. Amano, Agent Lang, if you would please take a look at this. What is this? Shayna! It's the deed to the haunted house. The deed? Read it out loud! Gatewaterland Incorporated hereby bequeaths the property known as the haunted house to Mr. Amano for the lump sum of $1 million, paid in full in cash. What? As you can see, I am now the legal owner of the haunted house. Are you kidding? When did you? I ran into the owner of the park earlier, and we made the deal almost immediately. How quickly things move when you can prepare $1 million in the blink of an eye. That $1 million you paid! Don't tell me it was... Oh, that's right. This disgusting suitcase belongs to you, doesn't it? I don't have any more use for it, so you may have it back now. You used the ransom money?! My Lance is a good boy. He even apologized for the kidnapping a bit earlier, so I do believe that I will forgive him. After all, he did return the ransom money. That's the way things are, so if you would please discuss things with me from now on. Discuss? What is there to discuss? Why, permission to enter the haunted house, of course. While we were busy listening to Lance's story, Mr. Amano was out there preempting us. Permission to search the haunted house is denied. End of discussion. Agent Lang, I want you to arrest that girl. And Miles, you should hurry on home now, my boy, before I really lose my temper. Ah! Mr. Amano definitely has the deck stacked in his favor here. What should I do? If I leave it like this, the truth will be lost forever. March 13th, 4:27 p.m., Gatewaterland, main gate. If I can't get permission to investigate the crime scene, then the truth will be lost. Hold it! Hold it! Hold it! Okay. Mr. Edgeworth, what are you doing spacing out? Have you forgotten? There's only one thing you should do at a time like this. And what is that? When the people are to bind, the hero of justice appears to save the day. Look, you just leave it to me. Brian K. Faraday, the second of the great Yatagarasu. I thought you were a thief, not a hero. Yatagarasu is noble, and it's always a thief of justice. That's... of course! If we have enough information, I can recreate the inside of the haunted house with this. Plus, if we didn't factor in everyone's testimony, you could recreate exactly what happened when I dropped off the ransom money. You may be able to figure out some new information through this. It's worth a try! Agent Lang? Ah, so you want to use your little toy? Be my guest. Okay, hang on. You're all about to witness the true power of a real modern-day Robin Hood. Detective Gumshoe! Is there a copy of the haunted house's blueprint among the police's reference documents? Yes, sir! We got it just in case we needed it for the kidnapping case. Alright, I'll put the haunted house data then. What is this? Where are we? It's like we're inside the haunted house. Even if we can't inspect the real location itself, the path to the truth slumbers here. If I can successfully navigate my way using logic, I'll ultimately arrive at the truth. Now then, I believe I'm ready to investigate the crime scene. Okay, what should I recreate first? You haven't figured it out yet? Maybe I have and maybe I haven't. And I'm going to make you do all the hard work. Very well. I'd like to inspect the moment in which I was ambushed by my abductor. The two of them were definitely in this place at that time. If I can verify that, it may provide me with a new lead. I had just come out into the hallway after leaving the money inside the dining room. At that time, I saw a badger slumped over on the floor at the end of the hall. Eh? What was a badger doing all the way down there? I also thought it strange. However, I thought that maybe it was simply a mannequin that was set there for atmosphere. Do you know which badger it was? No, it was too dark to tell. All I saw was his silhouette. In that case, I guess I'll just program a badger silhouette in for now. Okay, programming complete. Then I started walking towards the exit. And that's when you were struck from behind, right? Yes. But that's odd. The hallway is a dead end. Where did your assailant come from? There's only one location I can think of. I believe my assailant was lying in wait here.
Take that!
That doll I saw wasn't really a doll. It was in fact a costume kidnapper. Oh, so he used the costume as the perfect camouflage to blend in with the rest of the house. Precisely. He waited until I had made the drop-off and was about to leave. Then, just as he saw me take a step towards the exit, he stood and launched his attack. I think of no better hiding place than this. Hey, not bad. I'm beginning to think I should steal this tactic for myself. Just don't use it to do anything criminal, Kay. Well, Lance? What are you asking me for? As one of the kidnappers, I figured I should give you the chance to confess first. I was one of the kidnappers, but I don't know anything. I did come up to the haunted house, but I never set foot inside. I left Oliver in charge of picking up the ransom money. You didn't set foot inside? Is he telling the truth, or is this another lie? Alright, then you're claiming that it was Mr. Deacon who assaulted me. Yes, I'm sure it was him. Okay, inputting the new info now. Mr. Deacon was the Bad Badger, right? Since the Bad Badger has a gun attached to its right hand, I'll have to change it so the weapon is in its left hand. Gotta verify the facts of this recreation. Take a look around. It almost feels more like a house of mirrors. Gee, who has ever heard of this many mirrors inside of a haunted house before? Well, at least we know this is a real crime scene thanks to these mirror shards. Hey, wait, these shards, there's something different about them. Uh-oh? The ones we found earlier are thicker than the shards from these mirrors on this wall. And look, there's some sort of design on the back too. Pieces from that costume are certainly different from the other mirrors. What does this mean? Could it be that our pieces are not pieces of these mirrors? You didn't recreate the weapon. Well, I can't exactly recreate something I know nothing about. Tell me, what were you hit with? The attack came from behind, so I have no idea. I doubt it was someone's bare hands. Okay, then where were you hit? I was hit on the right side of my head, just above my temple. There was a bit of blood, but it wasn't anything serious. Ouch! Sounds painful! Why are you smirking like that when you say that? It's just your imagination. Now let's see. I wonder if there's anything in the hallway that could have been used as a weapon. I'm looking for something the culprit could have used to hit you with. Maybe the broken prop sword?
Take that!
I haven't. There was indeed one such object lying here in this hallway. A prop sword. Are you talking about this thing here? Yes. Although, we did find it at the kidnapper's hideout. Wait, yes! It's possible that the culprit took it with him after using it on me. Leave no evidence behind, right? Correct. It may be worth a more thorough examination yet. Okay, so what test do you want to run on this sword? Test with luminol. The culprit was wearing a costume at the time, so a fingerprint analysis is useless. Let's run the luminol test. It's possible that some of my blood found its way onto this. Agent Lang, may I ask for your cooperation in this matter? Look, I have a choice. Sheena, call the lab boys! Understood. Except for a dab on the left side, it would appear that the blade is spotless. So it must have been the left side of the prop sword that hit you then, right? Okay, I'll update the recreation with this new piece of info. I won't rest until I've inspected every suspicious-looking nook and cranny. Yeah, again, this doesn't make sense because he's not left-handed, he's right-handed. Is this spot somehow connected to any of the evidence I hold? Yeah. Colin DeVore was right-handed, not left-handed. According to this document, the victim was right-handed. Aha! I guess I should change which hand is holding the weapon then. Hold on, you two. You didn't think I was going to ignore something like that, did you? What are you talking about? Look, no interrupting when I'm about to have a little fun. Ha! Even if you change your recreation, you'd only be wasting your time. It's not possible for that thing to hold something in its right hand, you know. But Mr. Edgeworth's logic is, what's that thing called? The Bad Badger? Just take another good look at its right hand. Oh, I forgot the weapon isn't in its right hand because there's already gun in it. Precisely. You knew that already? Yes, I also know that the badger was holding the weapon in its right hand. Huh? Are you aware of what's coming out of your mouth? You just contradicted yourself. I have evidence, of course. Proof that the culprit held the sword in his right hand. Sounds interesting. Alright then, show me this evidence. This piece proves that the culprit held the weapon in his right hand when he struck.
Take that!
I'd like to point you to this piece of evidence. Wait, what the heck kind of proof is that supposed to be, Mr. Prosecutor? Can it be that you don't know your left from right? Poppycock! Perhaps that wasn't the evidence I was looking for. What? That makes sense. What are you doing, Miss Edgeworth? Get your head on straight. Look, think about when you're picking a lock. You hold the lock pick in your right hand. Okay, that's only if you're right-handed and interested in thievery. Agent Lang, accept my apologies. I will now show you what I had meant to show you all along. In that case, hurry up and show it to me already. This piece proves that the culprit held the weapon in his right hand when he struck.
Take that!
Has to be the sword then. The answer is the weapon itself! Except for a bit on the left side, this prop sword is absolutely spotless. However, the culprit had used his left hand, the blood would be on the opposite side. The replica Bad Badger is holding the sword in his right hand. I don't know what's going on anymore. Giving up already? It's simple. If he can't hold the sword in his left or his right hand, the one who struck me could not have been the Bad Badger. Pay big attention, Lance. Deacon could not have been the one who struck me, which leaves only you as our primary suspect. Fine, it was me. I hit you. It appears that you lied to me yet again. Let's see how quickly they catch up to you, Lance. Wait, isn't Lance left-handed? Yes. But that's what makes this deception all the more interesting. He used his right hand to make it look like Mr. Deacon had been the one to strike me. Well, you see, firing a gun with one's non-dominant hand is difficult. But that level of dexterity is required to swing a prop sword. Ah! Okay, please input this new data. The one who hit me from behind was Lance, or should I say the Proto-Badger. You got it! Here I go! Now, we have a faithful recreation of the situation around the attack on me. Alright, all we have to do is examine this new recreation and... Oh my god! What is with this guy?! What exactly is so funny, Agent Lang? That amusing little gadget. It sure packs a punch, right, Sheena? Yes, it was all I could do to hold my laughter in. Hey, don't make fun of little thief, you mean old werewolf. Me and Mr. Edgeworth bring out the best in each other. You've had your little fun, but now it's my turn. I've sat quietly by listening, but the crude conclusions you two keep spewing don't whet this wolf's appetite. There's no guarantee that your toy will always show the real situation at any given time. All it displays is whatever information you put in, right? Well, when you put it that way, your suppositions are wrong. It's not your fault, so I'm going to let you in on this. There's a trick to this haunted house. And what may that be exactly? A trick beyond what your tiny imagination can produce. Sheena! Here you are. Now then, what you missed, girlie. It's written right here in this pamphlet. The 7 Wonders of the Haunted House. The disappearing badger? What is this? I say that someone around here is fond of theatrics. And as you can see, they set a doll down at the end of this hallway for that purpose. Basically, the blue badger you saw was just a stupid doll. How could this be? Guess that throws your whole theory about it being your attacker right out the window. But that can't be right. Maybe the culprit hit the doll somewhere, and then he laid down and pretended to be it instead.
So fast.
If the criminal couldn't even hide himself in the hallway, how could he hide a giant doll? You get it now, thanks to your presumptions. Your logic started off weak and led you to a completely wrong conclusion. Now get off your high horse! Mr. Edgeworth. Hey, I wonder if you could please input the new information for me. You don't know when to quit, do you? I can't quit, not until I can declare that I found the truth. Agent Lang, for the additional information, you have my thanks. There you go again. We'll see if I care. Okay, I'm updating the recreation now. That looks really weird. Look at how it changes from the blue badger into the proto badger all of a sudden. If the slumped over badger was just a doll, where was my attacker hiding? Well, that's what we're going to find out, right? So come on, Mr. Edgeworth, let's go! Yes, let's. This recreation can't be right, which means there must be a contradiction somewhere. Won't rest until I've inspected every suspicious-looking nook and cranny. Blue Badger is just a doll for use in this haunted house. I bet the one who killed this Blue Badger was the bad Badger, right? According to the Blue Badger Bible, it says that they are each other's worst enemies. All because one's an ally of justice and the other's a vile criminal with a gun? Perhaps they were just destined to battle each other. Much like the Steel Samurai and the Evil Magistrate. This spot somehow connects to any of the evidence I hold? Something about the belt strikes me as odd.
Eureka!
Hold on a second here. There is something wrong with this Blue Badger. Huh? Like what? The way the belt is on him is opposite of how it should be. Did you make a mistake? That can't be! I inputted the image data exactly as it is in the pamphlet. So then why is the Blue Badger dressed up in reverse? Alright, time to do some logic. If the Badger was in reverse, wouldn't that imply that there's a mirror in front of it? Okay, do you remember what you said earlier? What I said earlier about what? About how this building might as well have been a house of mirrors? A house of mirrors? Oh, that would explain the reversed or mirror image. Yes, this Blue Badger might be nothing more than the reflected image of a real one. Then was the Blue Badger you saw just a reflection? When I looked down this hall, I thought it was perfectly straight. However, if there was a mirror... Oh, then it would actually form an L shape, right? Precisely. I was deceived. The hallway was almost pitch black. And there was a beam in the way that obstructed my view of the other hallway. Wait, but why build this place like that? It sounds pretty pointless to me. Okay, this house is just another attraction at an amusement park. They created a mirror wall for a very specific purpose, and one I can point out to you. This was the reason they built a mirror wall.
Take that!
As it's written in the pamphlet, the main draw of this attraction is the mystery of the disappearing badger. You mean they built a mirror for that trick alone? But you said you saw the badger, so it was definitely still there. That was true at the time, however. Doing this allows someone to make the Blue Badger disappear in a flash. By moving the mirror wall, to remove a reflected image, simply move the mirror. First, the mirror was constructed so that it could be moved. Then beyond where the mirror was, an empty hallway had to be created. Oh, so when they wanted people to see the blue badger, they would open the mirror. And when they wanted to hide it, they simply had to close it again. This explains why the other side of these fragments have a design on them. Ah, and if the pattern is the same as the other walls of this hallway, then when the mirror is closed, it will blend in with the rest of the walls. This is the mirror trick that this haunted house employs. And this also proves the existence of a hiding place for the culprit. Huh? How so? Think about it, Kay. There was a place that was outside of my field of vision. The culprit kept out of sight by hiding here. Ooh, hang on. Itchy arm. Oh. Oh. Right here, right?
Take that!
That was a very large blind spot, one I could not see beyond, and was here. If my assailant hid on the other side of the movable mirror, then you wouldn't be able to see him. He didn't even need to do anything to the Blue Badger doll. Exactly, all he had to do was wait for me on the other side of the mirror. Wait, hold on, I just thought of something. Yes? Well, shouldn't the mirror wall be broken right now, in reality? Since we have a few shards of it, we can probably assume it is. Yes, it most definitely is broken. The question is, when was it broken? Since we found these inside the victim's costume, that would mean that the victim was there when the mirror was broken. Wait, that sound. Leave the money and go, now. That sound I heard was most definitely the sound of a mirror breaking. Hey, I'd like you to input some new information. Ha! Don't scare me like that! Sorry, but I need you to recreate something for me. Sure, whatever you need. So what do you need anyway? If you could first recreate this hallway just before I enter the dining room. You got it! Now this. I believe this is how it was right before I entered the dining room. Although, at the time, I thought it was but a single straight hallway. And then, I went inside. It was around then that I heard the sound of a mirror shattering. You heard what? Then? Yes, I believe it was then that the mirror was broken. Okay, so then when you stepped outside into the hallway again, the mirror wall should no longer exist. Kate, please recreate that. Got it! Wait, but with the mirror gone, the culprit lost his hiding spot. So where did he go in his proto-badger suit, Mr. Edgeworth? Ha, that's easy enough. With the mirror gone, he simply hid himself in the branch hallway. I think this about wraps it up. Looks like we finally solved everything. No, not yet. An even larger contradiction has now reared its head. Huh? Perhaps you did not notice. But this recreation contains a very troubling inconsistency. The inconsistency between what I saw and the recreation lies here, right? It would still be here because he saw a slumped over badger. So that would mean that he saw a dead body.
Take that!
Okay, take a good look at the end of the hall. Oh, there's no blue badger there! Exactly, the blue badger that I saw in reality is not here. This is the final point on this long chain of logic, the last remaining contradiction. So let me get this straight. When you came out of the dining room, you saw a badger, right? And that is precisely where the final contradiction lies. Something that shouldn't exist was there before me. Who or what do you suppose it was? I believe this is the real identity of our mystery badger.
Take that!
The badger I saw was in actuality the dead victim's body! What? Agent Light, the entirety of my complete logic is my final decisive piece of evidence. The murder happened in the hallway at the haunted house at the time of the drop-off, and you can consider the moment I heard the mirror breaking. to be the real time of death for Mr. Deacon. No! Maybe it was due to their fighting, or perhaps it was a life-shattering bullet. But no matter what the cause was, the hallway mirror wall was broken. Ha! You were in the house at the time, right? Are you telling me that you missed the sound of a gunshot? There were a variety of sound effects playing at the time, all for theatrics, I assume. The gunshot must have blended right in. Hiya! Now then, I'd like you to recall something for me. Who was it that was with the victim at the haunted house? Who was the one who had the opportunity to rob the victim of his gun and use it on him? It was you, Lance Amano! I'm sorry! It's not like I had a choice. Oliver turned on me all of a sudden. He snapped and turned violent right after I hung up with you. He shoved me to the ground and straddled me. I fought back as hard as I could, grabbed his gun, and I shot him. The bullet must have went through his body and shattered the mirror. If I hadn't taken his gun and shot him first, I would have been the one you found. He's a hardened criminal. He escaped from jail. See, that's justified self-defense. My boy was only trying to protect himself. That remains to be seen, and will have to be resolved in court. Agent Lang, I leave the rest to you. Heh, as if you were the one in charge around here. Guys, arrest these two and get them out of my sight. Wait, I had nothing to do with the murder. The only person you should be arresting is Lance, his dad. Sorry, but you're not slipping away that easily, Mr. Ernest Amano. You tampered with the evidence so that you could cover for your son. What a great dad you are, willing to risk it all. Truly touching. Arrgh! By the way, do you know why I'm really here? How could I possibly know the answer to such an asinine question? You wound me. I came all this way from across the sea, just to see you know? You came to see me? What's that supposed to mean? I have a few things to ask you, Mr. Amano, about a case from 10 years ago. A case from 10 years ago? Oh, what's the name that you use here for that case? Sheena! It's known as the KG-8 incident. The KG-8 incident? Oh, so you remember it. Good. And you'll recall the trigger in that case was the Amano group scandal. Specifically, the charge of an internal smuggling ring. Smuggling? Where's that word again? At the time, the person that was arrested as the ringleader was Mr. Amano's very own secretary, Mr. Colin Devore. Father! You know you pushed the crime onto your then secretary, Mr. Devore. I always suspected that you were involved with the smuggling ring, Mr. Amano. Mr. Devore was arrested in place of you, which is why when he broke out, you hid him from the police, right? You hid him in exchange for his silence on your little dirty secret. Now! Please calm down. I honestly have no idea what you're talking about. Pretend to be ignorant all you want. We're taking you down to the precinct anyway for a nice long chat. What the? Who the heck was that? This guy again? I'll take him down to the precinct if you don't mind. And who the heck are you? I'm Jacques Portman, and I'm the prosecutor in charge of this case. Oh, Jacques! Thank goodness you're here! Don't jerk me around! This is an Interpol case, so keep your paws off of my suspect. Sorry, but I can't comply. I've got the backing of the prosecutor's office. See, in this country, we prosecutors work with the police to bring cases to court. So if you could please cooperate with me here, that'd be great. Now, how about a handshake to seal the deal? Sorry, but I hate prosecutors, a whole lot of you. Guys, arrest the two suspects! Sir! Oh, I almost forgot. Prosecutor Miles Edgeworth, is it? I'd like to thank you. Thank me? Yeah, for working so hard to fulfill my goal. Hey, is there any way to thank someone? And what the heck is that supposed to mean? You're so relentless with Lance that you forced Ernest to tamper with the evidence. Thanks to that, I finally had a legitimate reason to arrest him. So how does it feel to bite the hand that feeds you? The hand that feeds me? I'm not sure I follow. It's no use pretending with me. You're the one, right? You're the corrupt prosecutor that's working for Mr. Amano in the smuggling ring, right? No, I would never do such a thing. What the heck? Our intel's never wrong. In the prosecutor's office, there's definitely someone working with the ring. So Agent Lang suspected my relation to Mr. Amon. Must be the real reason behind his antagonistic attitude. On top of that, your mentor was Manfred von Karma, right? There were non-stop rumors flying around about forged evidence with that guy. You're not twisting the truth behind those closed courtroom doors too, are you? The courtroom is the place where the truth is revealed. Ha 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 ha! Well, don't worry. It's not only you. A whole lot of you can't be trusted. The prosecutor who never lost in 40 years, every defendant must be found guilty. Fueled by that kind of thinking, is it any wonder that courts produce nothing but falsities and lies? It would seem that this disdain extends beyond just me. Prosecutors, the courts, why is this man so angry with us all? Rest assured, the next time we meet, I won't be so forgiving. So don't you forget it. Please wait. Agent Sheena. Why does Agent Lang hate all prosecutors so? Lang is the head of the long-honored House of Lang in Shangfa. The heads of all police-related divisions in that country were of Lang blood. Were? What do you mean by that, aren't they still? They were revered, but that was long ago. They don't hold that sort of sway anymore. And it was all because of the courts. How could that be? The prosecutor once withheld and tampered with the evidence one of the Lang detectives found. That evidence purity was tarnished and cost the Lang family its honor and trust. But not all prosecutors are like that. So, Lang will never respect the court again, or any prosecutor. So Agent Lang is a man who hates all courts and is unwilling to forgive prosecutors. Man, what a piece of work that guy is. Come on, Jim. We'd better catch up. Yeah. We've still got to deliver that thing to the old man, after all. Detective Gumshoe, I believe it's time we wrapped up and headed out ourselves. Yeah, are you going home, Mr. Edgeworth? No, I've done nothing but be entangled in one mess after another since my return. If it's alright with you, can you drop me off at my office? No problem, sir! Excuse me. Yes, what is it? Thank you very much. Oh, it's okay, no need to thank me, pal. Just doing my job as a detective. I guess I was fooled pretty badly by Lance. Oh, cruel fate, what's a woman to do when she's been hurt by the one she loves? You think I never realized my father was right there. I never said anything to him. I knew it. I'm a failure. Ah, there she goes again, talking to herself. Miss Pops, what if you know why your father participated in the kidnapping? No, I have no idea. Your father died while he was trying to stop Lance. It means that from the beginning he had no interest in the staged self-abduction. Wait, then why did he... I believe it was because of your presence, Miss Pops. Me? Lance realized that the two of you were related, which is why he used you as a hostage to coerce Mr. DeVore into cooperating. Father! As a felon, he cannot tell you of his real relation to you. However, as the Yamato family butler, at the very least he was able to watch over you. It was all he could do, but that was the shape of his overflowing love for you. Go on, speak your mind. That is... Thank you very much. You're welcome, although there is no need to thank me. Ah, no, Lord, stop! I mean, this man is so much older than you. Looks like you've completely stolen her away, Mr. Edgeworth. Way to go, sir! Your technique is way beyond the level of a great thief. What are you going on about now? Wow, your deducing skills may be sound, but you have no street smarts. That's Mr. Edgeworth for you. Yeah, I mean, he still hasn't figured out who I am at all. If you haven't remembered in all this time, I guess I'm just going to have to say it. This isn't the first time we've met, you know. What do you mean, pal? Mr. Edgeworth? How do you know this girl? Looks like you totally forgot me too, Gummy. Gummy? Here, maybe this will jog your memories. I promised I'd return this to you one day, remember? That single piece of cloth took me back, far into my past, to that fateful day 7 years ago, when I first met the then child Kay, and Detective Gumshoe. And that brings episode 3 to a close. So the next time we come back to Ace Attorney Investigations, we'll be starting episode 4, Turnabout Reminiscence. So thank you all for watching, and as always, is your host, TheAmariaShadow, saying along Z, and I'll see you for the next adventure. Goodbye, everyone!